In the 1980s, pure radio and television publishing was growing a lot. It was growing a lot. Then Berlusconi arrived. How did pure radio and television publishing grow? Well, people went to the mountains to install repeaters, and they notified the Ministry of this. The Mammoth Law of 1990 had not yet been passed. Okay. So there was a sort of Wild West, but it was a self-regulated Wild West. Let's say Wild West, let's say. Whoa. Okay. That's how radio and television was born in Italy. Then, in 1990, Law 223 sorted everything out. I, along with others, am proud to have been part of that working group that wrote that law, even though it was later disregarded. Because then Berlusconi, when he held government positions, was there, and he had don't make me name me names, please. Who was able to change it again? No. But let's get to that point. At that time, there was great enthusiasm from everyone, including the person I'm talking to you about. Systems could have been installed in practically every location, with the aim of building a network, a fully independent information network, free from any outside influence. We were pure. We still are. Others are no longer here, for various reasons. We've had the good fortune to survive for at least 48 years. But why? What happened? What happened was that those who had already created the national networks, it's useless to keep. Going back to Mi Conscienta, right? We always go back to Berlusconi and a few others, right? Because what you're seeing today, the one I refer to as the sect. I use that term to aid in my memory, don't I? But it is the sect. It wasn't Monte Clo at the time. Then after Telecom joined the ranks, well, there's a whole story behind it. But that too was a network that had already consolidated itself, that had taken over other people's systems, you know. I'm not going to go into history here. Alberto knows it well, by the way. And what happened? The systems at a specific point in time became impossible to install. Someone had stopped them. Because who had stopped them? They were stopped by the same thing. That convinced people to get the magic injection. That wasn't magic a few years ago. It was stopped by misinformation, by propaganda that went around, saying that electromagnetic fields were so harmful that even if a transmitter was 20 kilometers away or 5 kilometers away, the fact that you saw it with your own eyes would send flashes in your rocks, in your brain, and it would hurt. And that's how the famous 6-volt meter limit was born. When it's a technical thing, right? Well, it's not true that pollution is beyond that, because in all the other countries there are 40-volt meters, voltage from 6 to 40. The distance is enormous. It's not proportional because they are logarithmic measurements, okay? So to say that transmitters could no longer be installed, because otherwise if there was a field higher, then it would cause serious damage to people and so on. It has never been scientifically proven, because the electromagnetic fields, the ones for which there is scientific proof that they could be, are only the 50 hertz field, and they are those of electricity, those of power lines that should have all been buried, as happened in Switzerland, okay? They're still, however, passing above people's houses with incredibly high voltage, a whopping 360,000 volts. Those are the ones for which there is scientific proof. The electromagnetic fields on the frequencies of FM radio or TV, no, in UHF, for example, there is no proof. But despite this, there was a campaign started by Villers Bourdon of the Green Party at the time. Okay. Tex Willer, who came validated by everyone, including Berlusconi's right-wingers at the time, including Berlusconi himself, because he was a rubber stamp. He said, I've already made the networks, otherwise others won't do them. And that others won't do them, and others haven't done them. After that point, any kind of installation meant navigating a bureaucratic maze so convoluted and time-consuming that it dissuaded all but the most determined individuals from even attempting it. You had to be a super-rich multinational. It's still like that today. Okay? Today, just as always, the owners of the plants, the pylons, the towers remain precisely the same entities. Guess who they belong to? Guess who they belong to? They're always the same. And today, we broadcast on channel 253 of digital terrestrial television. Okay, and we have to pay a fee. Guess who? Guess? Guess. And they set the price. If you'd like to broadcast with higher definition, it's their responsibility to raise the price. And as you come with the supervise this, yes, it does, but then, well, there is no state tariff for this. Like, there is, for example, in other countries, I repeat, neighboring countries, like Switzerland, for example, right? Right? France. There is no state tariff even for digital. Private individuals decide. That's how you kill it. And independent radio and television publishing in Italy. Do you understand? I mean, is that clear? The possibility for private individuals to install their own systems has been taken away, and so you always have to contact who? Look at who did it. At the time, autodudu e catiurino pro. Who can? I mean, I keep quiet about this thing. That is bullshit. You show off. You show off because you are a left-wing green, etc. I don't care about the right. I won't go to war on you over a piece of data that is not scientific. Vic, let's create some great fear-mongering. Everyone. Guys, we have witnessed some mind-blowing things. Both one day, I will tell the whole story. People couldn't even go and do maintenance on the systems anymore because they were waiting for you with guns drawn because you were this of electromagnetic fields. People didn't understand anything. They didn't understand that if you're close to, for example, your child's school, it's better to install a system, a cell phone antenna, rather than not having one. They fight to have them removed, but they should be there. I've already explained why. Because the damage isn't that antenna there, but your cell phone. If the antenna is far away, it's forced to transmit louder. The cell phone you have next to your ear is what hurts you, not the one that's 50 meters or 100 meters away. Essentially, there was total chaos, resulting in communications being controlled by select of you who possess the bureaucratic access not just to permit, but also to ARPA and other relevant entities, but access to a whole series of stories. Bureaucratization has killed this type of publishing.